We're going to talk about how to actually go monk mode and how to actually focus and go all in. A lot of you guys think that monk mode is just like, semen retention and not busting and all that bullshit. But like a lot of you guys are incels anyway. So let me tell you how to actually go monk mode, focus and go all in and really, really reach your goals. And it's all going to start with fitness, guys. Like you can't skip the fitness part. A lot of you guys try to skip the fitness part. It's literally the basis of everything. If you work in sales, you already know that if you're fit, it's going to be easier because you have discipline and your appearance is on point. When your appearance is on point, it's going to help with sales a lot, and it's going to help with your confidence, and it's going to help with your energy levels as well. Like you can't fake your energy levels. If you're always tired, you're always going to be tired. You can't fake it, right? So number one is always going to be fitness. But let's get right into it: how to focus, how to go all in, what the steps are, what you need to do, what you need to focus on to actually execute your goals. So the first part is going to be definiteness of purpose, right? So you want to identify what you want to improve on specifically, whether it's fitness, whether it's mental mindset, if you're depressed or if you're struggling at work, things like that, right? If you're struggling financially, then obviously sales and stuff like that is going to help. And then when you're struggling with fitness, obviously, waking up on time, not just jacking off all the time is going to help. Not skipping sessions, not eating fast food, all that stuff's going to be important, right? But once you find your purpose and it really aligns with you, that's going to help you, right? So the first thing is definitely going to be finding your purpose. Once you find your purpose, whether that's like I said, fitness, whether it's sales, if you're an engineer and you like to, help people, if you're a nurse and you like to help people, all of these things, right? You got to find your purpose because without a purpose, you're literally just going to be moving without intention. Moving with intention versus moving without intention is completely different things, right? When you move with intention, you have standards, you have rules that you go by. When you move without intention, you're kind of just like, what's going on? What do I do? I guess I'll do this. I guess I'll do that. And you don't have anything to stand on. You know how they say standing on business? You need business to stand on in the first place, right? Now, month one is going to mean prioritizing your improvement physically and mentally. So, like I said, like monk mode is focusing on your goals. So, for example, let me just give a random example. If you just started a job at a car dealership, right, and you're a little bit out of shape, and your goal is to be in the best shape of your life, be lean, have six pack, have bigger shoulders, and then also get a better jawline by getting leaner. It's going to help. And also be the top salesman, then you're going to give all your efforts to that. Now, if a chick comes along and she, adds to that, then that's cool. You can still deal with her. Monk mode is not just going, semen retention or anything, but it's also not prioritizing anything else besides, you know, your physical and mental health, right? It's prioritizing yourself and actually executing. That's what the main focus is. Now, a side effect of that is obviously you're going to get a better physique, and obviously, chicks are going to be coming up to you and shit because you're improving yourself physically and mentally, right? But the purpose of monk mode is not just to be like an incel who complains and watches red pill rage bullshit, right? All right. All right. One of the most important things, right? I actually read this in Think and Grow Rich. It was the most interesting shit I've ever seen in my life. But it's called sex transmutation. So a lot of times, like most of our energy as men comes from our seed, right? So a lot of times when we're younger, we spend literally our entire youth like chasing chicks. We did in high school. We make all our decisions based on, what's down there. We make all our decisions based on our Johnson, right? So, for example, when I was in my early 20s, damn, I sound old as fuck. But when I was in my early 20s, I was literally just like chasing chicks, and all my decisions were based on, what chicks thought. If they're like, oh, I don't really, they'd be like, oh, I don't really want to go here. Let's go here, or I want to go here, or some shit like that. I was just chasing chicks, man. I was just hitting up chicks and motivated by chicks, and that's what I spent my time doing. I could have been doing business, I could have been doing anything else, but I was spending my time messaging chicks on Instagram, responding to messages, getting messages, getting haircuts. Just all that's all I was doing, just chasing chicks, right? All that energy. If I took all that energy, right? Because every time you're releasing your seed, you're gonna feel more tired. If I use that energy, because that's what sex transmutation is. Instead of like when you wake up and you have that drive to chase chicks, instead of using that to chase chicks, you can use that to create a business or work on yourself, or you can just reuse that energy because it is powerful energy. And what Napoleon Hill found was most dudes don't become successful till their 40s and 60s. Like if you look at the Sexiest Man Alive magazine every year, or whoever they name as it's always someone between 40 and 60 every single time, right? Because what do we do in our 20s? We usually chase chicks, and then end of our 20s, we settle down with a chick, then we get divorced in our 30s, then we got to start, from zero. And then once we reach 40, you start to understand life a little bit more, and you start to use your energy towards different things. There's also another story where apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw this on like YouTube. George Washington Carver, the one that made like peanut butter, he used all his energy to literally just, on on making peanut butter, on creations, on inventions, things like that, right? And they said he got castrated when he was younger, and that's why, right? He focused all his energy somewhere else. So what happens when you sex transmutation is basically, I mean, prioritizing, other things besides, just chasing chicks. Like that's a modern version of it, right? Like when I used to wake up in my early 20s, like the first thing I thought about was like, oh, who texted me? Oh, she texted me. Okay, cool. Oh, let me text her back. Oh, she DM me. Like all that bullshit. Everything was just influenced by that. I would spend time going on dates, waste time doing all that bullshit, right? When I could have been spending that time doing other things, leveling up, learning new skills, working on businesses, things like that, right? All right. So obviously showing up and having integrity. I'm gonna put this slide in like every single video because this is literally what I see most people to struggle with, right? Because when you are going quote unquote monk mode, you have to have integrity. You have to, because when you first start off and you're like, I'm gonna focus and go all in, you have to make sure that you're gonna show up and you're actually gonna hold yourself accountable because no one else is gonna hold yourself accountable. If someone gives you a plan and it's a good plan, you won't know if you don't put the work in and you're not consistent with it, right? And that's where integrity comes in because listen, integrity goes hand in hand with self accountability because integrity is doing what you don't want to do when you don't feel like, I mean, doing what you need to do when you don't feel like doing it. It's what you do when no one's looking. Like, just imagine, it's raining outside and it's a holiday. Everybody's, just relaxing, staying at home. It's like Christmas and it's raining outside or something like that. And people are just staying at home and they're showing them drinking some eggnog. And you get up early, you go for a walk, right? You go to the gym. Yeah, and yes, you walk in the rain. You go for a walk in the rain, then you go to the gym, then you eat what you're supposed to. You're not drinking eggnog, right? And then you read a book, you do your morning routine, you do all these things. Like that's gonna make you feel so much better, but that's also gonna put you on pace for your goals. And that's what this is all about. It's all about prioritizing yourself and actually executing and doing what you said you're gonna do. Too many people say they're going monk mode, but they're just like I said, they're just incels. All right, that's not the same thing. Like you can't just listen. If something is your only choice, like if you're incel, that's your only choice, then that's not like monk mode is a choice. All right, it's like when you're like, I need to focus more on business, my physique, and my mental health, my mindset. Right, that's what you focus on. All right, you don't go into monk mode because you're forced to and you're bitter. That's not how it works. All right. Of course, I already said this, but knowing the power of the compound effect as well. This is going to be super, super important because when you're actually going monk mode, guys, you have to know this shit. When you're going monk mode, you got to make sure that obviously you're reading books and things like that, but you got to make sure that you know that everything that you're putting in now is going to have benefits in the future. So you have to delay that gratification, which is the next slide, right? But you have to make sure that you know that in the future, you are going to see all the benefits to what you were doing. All right. Because a lot of times we start in monk mode and we do it for 3 months and then we just like, you know what, I'm going to go chase chicks again. You didn't give everything time to actually develop. You know how long it takes an apple tree to grow, right? You plant the apple seed and then 9 years later is when it finally grows, right? Like above ground, which is insanity. I think it's 7 to 9 years, but that's insanity. But that's literally the roots getting placed. That's how it is with success. And like I said, if you're trying to be a salesman, top salesman at the car dealership, it might take 100 interactions. It might take 1,000. For me personally, when I became the top salesman in the gym, when I was working in the gym, in person training back in the day, I went on the floor. My first 100 people like rejected me. I was like 0 for 100, and then I was like, I got to change my approach, right? So you're not just gonna make a decision and be like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on myself, and then all of a sudden you just gain 10 pounds of muscle overnight. You change your mindset overnight. Like that's not how it works. All right, it takes time. And one more thing, guys, you got to be patient and give every day 110%. All right, no slacking, no being like, you know what, I feel like this today. You do not want to let your emotions dictate what you do. All that I feel sad, I feel mad, I'm unmotivated. That shit has nothing to do with you executing. I hate when people say that, especially young dudes. They DM me and they're like, oh yeah, I was gonna do it, but I'm not motivated. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with execution or not? Your results care if it gets done or not. Like if you're on a football field, you don't feel like tackling someone, you're just gonna let them go past you. You're gonna get benched. That's how life works, bro. You don't be like, you know what? I don't feel like tackling him. He's running pretty fast. You're just gonna let him go. You're gonna get benched. Then you're gonna get kicked out of the team or cut. You feel me? Like that's how life works. It's a dog eat dog world, man. You can't just like every day that you don't show up because you don't feel like it. There's someone out there like me who's gonna show up regardless, right? And you're just gonna be further and further behind, and then you're gonna get discouraged when you see all these people getting results and you're not getting results, but you're not doing what you need to do. All right. And of course, like I said earlier, you got to delay gratification. I know you got Carvana, you got microwaves, you got air fryers. People order DoorDash, people order Uber Eats. You got video games, you got prawn. All you guys are doing all that stuff, but that doesn't mean that that's success. All right, because in the real world, everyone knows in the real world, like people who work corporate, they have to like climb the ladder and shit like that. But like everyone in the real world knows it takes time to build anything. Like even muscle. Like if your goal, if you're skinny fat and you're trying to put on muscle, it's just not going to happen in 3 months. All right, it's just not going to. But if you become the person you need to become and you do everything that you need to do to get there, you will eventually get there. And remember that the 2 to 3 years is going to pass regardless. So do you want to be skinny fat for 2 to 3 years, or do you want to go from skinny fat to jacked in 2 to 3 years? All right. The choice is up to you, man. You control that shit. Another thing that you're going to need, and that's important when it comes to actually going monk mode, is the increased discipline that you do get, right? So obviously, when you go monk mode, you're literally constantly going to be saying no. You're constantly going to be saying no. Like for me, when I went monk mode, I was like, me and my brother were like, listen, we locking in, bro. We locking in, bro. I was like, should we drive to the gym? He's like, nah, we're going to walk to the gym, right? The gym was like a 15-minute walk. We're walking to the gym, waking up early, walking to the gym, you know what I'm saying? But I would wake up early. I would check in on clients, do some yoga, do my morning routine, and then we walk to the gym. We worked out. We walked back, and like I would get messages from chicks. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like bro, there was this bad chick from the Caribbean, right? I mean, she looked pretty close, but she was like Caribbean, and she had a nice ass, bro. I'm not even playing, but she was like hitting me up. We Facetime once, and then she was like, "Yeah, we should link up. Let's like get an Airbnb for like 4 days or something like that." I was about to, and then I was like, you know what? I gotta lock in, bro. I got to lock in, man, because you can't put your energy in two places. You can't have your energy going to chase chicks, and then you bust, and then you focus on them. Now you're texting back and forth, and your energy is now intertwined. So now everything they say to you affects you and it takes you away from your business. So I was like, I gotta lock in, right? So I just, I turned down all those offers. Chicks was hitting me up. They're like, oh my God, come to Orlando, come to Tampa, all this shit. And I had to just turn that down and just lock in, man. I was like, you know what? I'm locked in. I need to focus right now because I really do need to build business and I need to build my mindset and I need to get the best physique I can. I need to just be really integral with myself and build up that self belief and really build up these routines as well. Because listen, once you're in momentum, taking your foot off the gas is not the best thing to do. Now, when you're in momentum and these chicks are coming and they're not just like adding to you, they're gonna like subtract a little bit or meet you in the middle. Then that's like driving on the highway and then you got to make a pit stop, right? That's gonna delay the amount of time that you need, all right, to get to your goals, and it's gonna take you off track, obviously. All right. Another important thing when you are in monk mode is going to be your daily non negotiables. Listen, you got to make your goals your standards. If your goals are not your standards, you will not accomplish your goals. If you have goals and you kind of just look at them like, I want to get a six pack, but then you just eat crumble cookie, you're not going to get a six pack, obviously, right? You got to make your goals your standards, right? So these are non negotiables that you have to execute. These are not options, right? Like if you're serious about your goals, these are not options. These are things that you will execute. Reading 10 pages a day is going to help with your mental health, guys. It's going to help with your mindset. And reading, like, listen, books in general are literally years and years and years, decades of someone's experience put into 300 or less pages. All right. Literally, you're probably asking, what do I read? You could read Atomic Habits, Compound Effect, or any Napoleon Hill book. Those will all help your mindset and get your mindset like clear in the morning. Another thing I wanted to add in here is not being on your phone for the first hour. So for the first hour of the morning, right? If you have to wake up earlier, wake up earlier. But first hour of the morning, don't be on your phone and read 10 pages at least, right? Read 10 pages at least because reading is literally going to help your mindset so much. Like once you start doing it, you're going to realize what I'm talking about. Because in order to read, you have to be calm, obviously, because you got to sit in one spot, be calm and focus. All right. Saying your affirmations now. As far as affirmations go, obviously you got to put the work in behind them because affirmations without work is dead, just like faith without work is dead. But saying your affirmations is speaking your future self into existence. A lot of us struggle with inconsistency. A lot of us view ourselves as like a fat version of ourselves or a loser version of ourselves. So you have to say your affirmations to make sure you can speak that future self into existence. For example, if people call you a fat loser and you tell yourself you're a fat loser, you need to tell yourself, I'm the healthiest version of myself and I'm a winner. You need to tell yourself that every morning. It sounds corny, but it's going to help you because once you have a moment of doubt, you're going to remember what you said with the affirmations, right? You're going to speak that shit into existence, especially if you put work behind it. You're going to start to believe it. It's going to add power. It's going to add fuel to the fire. All right, workout. Got to get a workout in. If it's your off day, just go for a short walk. Nothing crazy. You can do some yoga. Nothing crazy, right? But definitely got to get a workout in every day because not for body gain, but just for your health, right? Working out is important for your health. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh my God, will I get more chicks? I mean, obviously that's a side effect of working out, and eating right. But that's not what you do it for. You do it to feel better, release some stress, release endorphins, and just to do something hard every day, right? Like nobody wants to do reverse lunges, when it's hot as hell in the gym and your knee hurts a little bit. You don't want to do reverse lunges, but you still got to do it. That's going to take you to the next level when you do the hard stuff when you don't want to. All right. Being 100% on nutrition, like I said, this is non-negotiable, right? All this bullshit, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not getting lean. What do I have belly fat? You're not eating what you're supposed to. All right, you're not eating lean meats. You're not eating eggs. You're not eating fruits, vegetables. You're just not doing it. You're not hitting your protein number. You got to do these things every day. Like nutrition is the bare minimum. Like eating what you're supposed to is the bare minimum because it's called healthy for a reason. Why would you eat unhealthy and then be like, well, why should I eat healthy? It's called unhealthy versus healthy. Why do I even have to say that shit? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, do you want to die or do you want to live? Everyone's gonna be like, obviously, I want to live. Same thing with unhealthy versus healthy. It's called unhealthy, which means bad. Like, why do you want bad? All right, gallon of water a day, non-negotiable. Reading over your goals so you can stay focused and locked in is obviously important as well. So make sure you do that as well. All right, so that's pretty much what you got to do to really go monk mode and actually execute and level up. Like I said, this is not just like, oh, I'm not gonna beat my meat, all this bullshit, right? Obviously, you're not going to if you're this focused, right? Because like I said, my bad. Let me go backwards. Like I said, with sex transmutation, if you are focused on your goals, you're gonna use all your seed and all your energy to focus on this instead of all the other stuff that you do. And I wanted to reiterate this: most men waste their 20s and early 30s chasing women, prioritizing them, which is why most men don't become successful till their 40s to 60s. So just remember that, guys. If you're a young dude, do not waste your time, bro. Because the crazy thing is, if you chase success in your 20s, you'll actually get more chicks than the people chasing, women only, which is crazy. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe.